Hola, bonsoir, definitely buonasera, and definitely guten Abend. You're all very welcome to another episode of Eurostars. I've just been distracted by Bilal's background. Like I don't know what's going on. It's like,
what is this?
I really know what he's trying to do. I really know what he's trying to do.
Check this out. Bilal looks like the third long lost brother.
These are my people. These are my people for real.
In the middle there, he looks like the third long lost brother, man.
Get myself right there.
Oh, people, it's the history of the Tottenham, as HH says already, man. Yeah, we're gonna get into it, man. Another sad, dismal day for the football club that is Tottenham. Getting knocked out by an equally dour, sour AC Milan team. I wouldn't say a disgrace, but a shambles of a name of AC Milan team. But they kept a clean sheet, which wasn't very hard. They got through, and we will talk about the blockbuster game of the night. That was PSG versus Bayern Munich. So much to tuck into, so many tactical nuances, so many discussions about owners, money spent, elite coaches, records in Europe, all of that and much more to come. Guys, of course, I need a panel to talk about it all. You guys can already see Henry. I don't know who that is.
It's Mbappe.
Oh, it's Mbappe, man.
I can't tell.
Baby
Mbappe.
Mbappe.
Okay, so Bilal,
Cheeky.
what's the backstory?
Yeah, no, this is just Mbappe with his father, right? Obviously, from young, he was teaching him how to play the game. He's teaching him all the tricks of the trade. But now we'll get into PSG. But now it's time. It's time, Kylian. It's time to leave. It's time to fulfill your destiny, bro. Henry's boots, they're waiting for you. But yeah, Kylian, we'll get into him. We'll get into PSG. Yeah. But honestly, I'm happy because I'm 2 for 2 today. There was one time during the World Cup, right, where I don't know if it was the quarterfinals. I got nearly every result wrong one day. I think was it the Netherlands Argentina game? That game, those rounds of fixtures. But yeah, I'm 2 for 2 today. Bayern, Milan, as expected, have gone through. So I'm a happy man.
Joining us again, Sani, who made such a wonderful debut. I had to get him back. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Hope you was watching the right game tonight. There's surely only one game. Or are you a man who kind of enjoys the painful side of things and endured that, whatever that was, at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium?
No. I think I had my right hat on, especially after what happened on Sunday. But yeah, I watched a Bayern game as well. Unlike Bilal, though, I wasn't 2 for 2. I was 1 for 2. I had the Bayern game right, but I thought Spurs were going to do what Spurs do. But listen, they bottled it as they do. So yeah. But I don't know why Bilal was on about Mbappe fulfilling his destiny going to Arsenal. I'm pretty sure Henry won the Champions League at Barcelona, right? So
Yeah,
exactly.
Bilal does this.
Oh, exactly. No, exactly. This is where you don't have the vision. Henry won it all at Arsenal, but he just missed out on that Champions League. This is why you have children. This is why you have children to fulfill your legacy, to take his guy. And that is why Mbappe is 14 at Arsenal, winning the Champions League next season. That's why we're planning
This is
it.
why you have children.
This is all written.
Off the weed.
Man said, "This is why you have children."
Exactly.
Smash
Nice
the
joke.
like and a 7-Up. Now drink the 7-Up if you got any left. I love that profile picture. Look at that. That's a brilliant picture. Joseph says, "Big up No Beats and the Half Space Show. It was a fantastic watch. Look forward to the next one. Big up the panel. Like the stream. Subscribe if you haven't already. And Messi's Champions League finale? Question mark. What does he mean by that? They're out.
It's the last game that Messi will play in the Champions League. It's rumored that he's gonna go to Miami. It's almost done.
Now take him to Saudi League, man. Let's see Messi versus Ronaldo.
No, he already bought a big apartment here in Miami, actually, and David Beckham is actually talking to him. And there are reports here in America that says that he's already prepared. The family are not happy in Paris. They want to go to America, and then they want to be close to South America as well. So they want to come here to Miami as well, one of the places for the South Americans here. So I think it will be done.
You're telling me Phil Neville is going to be the coach of Lionel Messi? That's kind of funny.
Messi's the coach when he goes
Pretty
there.
good step over on him though. I don't know if you've seen that clip of him back in the day.
Probably that. Or have you seen the Darwin Núñez step overs, like the meme that's made of him like a couple of years back? So I don't know which one's worse, Phil Neville. But yeah, please allow the Darwin Núñez slander, Chris. Joining me is Mo as well, who mixed emotions. Yesterday he wanted Milan to go through. I guess this is the best way to go through. Like, didn't even look good. Just done what they had to do.
I'm not gonna do this, Grizz. I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna do the same as Michael Richard and Thierry Henry and at least Milan played Spurs. They were 1-0 up, and they didn't allow Spurs any chance until the 95th minute. They did what they had to do. They have limitations, of course, but we have to sit here and praise them. They went to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. They really limited Spurs. With Harry Kane, the best forward, with Youngman's son, with the big signing, Richarlison, Romero, and all these players, and they did the job. The PSG went to Bayern Munich trailing 1-0, and they couldn't do the job. So I'm not gonna sit here and actually say trash Milan because they didn't play well. They have limitations, but they got the job done, and they were closer to the win than actually Tottenham Hotspur, which is comical, to be honest.
Just at the end, we're gonna get into it, but just at the end, there, I had visions of Origi. Last second against Spurs again, Champions League, and he hit the post. I was about to just tweet away. I was going to say Divock Origi, the man for the occasion, but hit the post and back into Fraser Forster's hand. Michael, you needed some Champions League action and football and to distract you. What a horrible week for you, but hopefully you was distracted.
No, not really, because that was two of the most boring games I've watched in a long time. That was not good football, but is what it is. Still Champions League football, and it still had some exciting players, which we'll talk about. But no, it's still good games to watch, especially at least PSG Bayern entertained me a little bit. Spurs Milan, that was an atrocity to football. But yeah.
Big up everyone, especially Grizz for the content now, man. Especially these guys. These guys make it. Will anyone break Ronaldo's Champions League goal and assist records, guys?
Where was Messi today? Can someone respond to me today?
Here we go. Don't do this.
Where's Messi today? No. But let me tell you the differences. We praise Messi when he does something good. But today, he is older now. People need to realize this. He needs the cast around him. This PSG team,
you can't say where's Messi then, Mo. You can't say where's Messi then.
No. I'm just responding.
That's salty, right?
No. I'm just responding. I'm responding to the people that said that Messi wins it by himself. You need a team around you.
Yeah, but that's extreme, isn't it? That's extreme. And now asking where's Messi when he's 47 and literally won the World Cup, played 100 games this season.
You actually said it.
Extreme.
You actually said it. He's 40. He needs the cast around him.
Of course, he knows that. Everyone knows that. That's why he's going to Miami. That's a bit of Miami Vice. Now it's time for a bit of Miami Vice in his life.
No, because to be honest, to win the best award and to talk about Ballon d'Or when there are players like someone like Kylian Mbappe today, yes, he wasn't, but at least he was trying. Like, at least give him his props today. Kylian Mbappe was trying today, but he was really by himself. I'm not sure. This PSG team, I know you want to talk about it. All I want to say is that this lineup, again, is deceiving. They're not as good as we think they are. Because of Kylian Mbappe, we are praising them. But man to man, apart from Choupo-Moting, everybody in this Bayern Munich probably will get into this PSG lineup. Everybody.
Michael S. Grizz always talking saucy about Milan. We are European heritage, 7 Champions League. I never said anything about your heritage. In fact, I'm saying this Milan team is a shadow of the great Milan teams that I'm used to. So I'm actually praising your club and your heritage, my brother. And if you're happy with this state of Milan and this Milan team, then fair enough. I thought I'm actually praising you guys, like the levels that I've seen Milan reach. Come on, man. I'm sorry, Grizz. Messi just got voted the best award. What does that mean?
They're responding.
But how does that equate to people asking where's Messi in a Champions League game that they 1-0 down away to Bayern without Neymar, with literally just one man, Mbappe, alongside him?
But when you are the best,
he's not the best anymore. He's
Okay,
nowhere near the
That's
best.
what people are
point,
claiming. But people are claiming he's the best though. He's gonna win
That's
the
the
Ballon
point,
d'Or.
Chris.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah,
my
but he is the
point.
best.
He's not.
He's the
No,
best.
he's not.
Messi.
He's really
He's
not.
not right now. No, he's not the
he-
best. That's
he is
that's it.
Messi.
See, from one bozo opinion of you lot to another bozo opinion over there. Like there's
We
two.
cannot-
Like,
we
bozo
cannot
opinions
criticize
here.
Messi.
No,
I'm
no,
sorry.
no.
No,
So
I don't
you're
care.
you're telling
No, he's
us
not the best.
that we're responding to the FIFA voting him in the best, being the best.
No, we
Because he
know
won the
how
World Cup.
FIFA
Yeah,
Manny,
because he
can
won
you
the
bring
World Cup.
some
Okay.
sanity to this insanity start to the show?
Yeah,
This is
I mean,
insane
Absolutely,
stuff.
I
let's-
absolutely
let's
disagree
be-
with
let's
you
be honest,
completely.
right?
I don't think he's the best now.
The
He
FIFA
was
awards,
the best.
the
course
FIFA
not.
awards, if we look at it, we should really take with a pinch of salt because there's been many awards previously gone whereby some footballers should have got the award over others. So let's take it with a pinch of salt. Going back to what Grizz has said, and even what Bilal has said, obviously Messi won the World Cup. He's probably got the award for that reason. Fine, fair enough. But what Mo's saying is also right. You would expect Messi to turn up in this game. Granted, he's just won the World Cup and he's older. However, if we look at Messi's record in the Champions League, for example, he hasn't actually scored a goal in the away fixture in a knockout tie since 2013. So that's quite a long time where he actually turned up in the game, if you ask me. At home, he's brilliant. But away is where you would say the chips come down, where you need a performance from your star player. And today, I think Mbappe as well didn't really have the best game, but neither did Messi. But as Grizz said, he's getting old. He's probably looking at Miami to join Mo in America. You know, chew the fat over there. And we'll see Messi and Mo hopefully on the stream at some point.
Oh, that would be amazing. I'll replace Mo with Messi. Romero
I would
overrated.
replace me with Messi.
Romero overrated. I told you, Grizz. So he says, I didn't argue with you. Why is everyone arguing with me? I never said anything in response. I said he's a bozo. He's got both. I compared him to Lovren, Dejan Lovren of Liverpool.
Respect Lovren. Respect Lovren.
No,
This
no,
Romero guy.
Romero
We'll get
was
into
good.
him, but
He just hasn't been coached. Honestly, Romero.
you can't coach
has
him.
act-
No, you can't coach
You have
this.
to coach him.
Nah,
I think Conte's given
You
up.
cannot
I don't
coach
think-
this.
Conte's
It's impossible.
No, you can coach, man.
Nah, he's just a hothead. Nah, he's just a hothead. That's what
You
it
can
is.
coach. Oh, come on, man. Trust me. Let me coach him. Let me coach him. Let me get into his head. Bro, you lot don't know the skills, innit? Man management, man. Let me get in there, man. I'm telling you, you can coach him because he's got the raw attributes to do something, but he's just got the bozo gene. You can't control. Like no one's been able to control his bozo gene. He wasn't this mad at Atalanta. I don't know. Maybe he was not in the spotlight as much. Smash the like button, sleeping dragons and people. Over
Never
200
mind.
view in here. Let's
Never
get this
mind.
going.
Never mind Coach Kall. We got Coach Khan here doing.
I'm
your
telling you,
awful-
man. No, but I can't believe anyone can say that you can't coach him, man. Come on. Are we serious about that? But let's what game we're getting into, Bilal, first? You're cool, my brother. Let's get into the first game of the night.
Listen, I just want to get the Tottenham slander in. So let's just
Yeah.
start.
Let's get this out of the way. Let's get this out of the way.
All right, well, let's come to you first, because last night we said, yeah, it's gonna be one goal in it if there's a goal in it. Don't watch this game. Why did we even do a preview to it if we said don't watch it afterwards? Hold on, I've got a super chat. Let me just get through the super chat before we get in, tuck in. TBG says, in all seriousness, when was the last vintage UCL knockout performance from Messi? He is the GOAT, but he hasn't showed up in the UCL for years. Pretty much what Mo and Sani were saying, I think. I think that's what you guys were saying, right?
Yeah.
But come on, man, he's at PSG, and we're going to get into PSG and what we think of PSG or what PSG have been for the last few years. So let's just dip on the Messi. I ain't about... Come on. If we're talking about Messi in his prime and this was happening where he was Mbappe's age or Neymar's age or anything else, I would have been on it. Questions would have been asked. But we're talking about 47-year-old Messi.
It wasn't
Sorry,
about
Bilal.
Messi today. It's not about Messi, but yes.
You made
It's
that
about
clear.
PSG.
Okay, Mo's made that clear. Okay.
It's not about Messi today.
It's not about Messi. Bilal.
Yeah, so going into Tottenham, let's just start with them because, yeah, they're toothless. They're toothless. And we're talking about the game before yesterday, and we're talking about the three centre-backs of Milan, Mignon in there as well in goal. Like, I felt comfortable that this team would not concede today against Tottenham. And every time, even Tottenham had a few chances on the break where it's like 3-on-2 or something. There's just something happening, right? They look like they can go forward. It died each and every time. It was so toothless, so sad to watch if you're a Tottenham fan. So glorious, obviously, from my side, to watch them fail miserably once again. But despite all the banter, really and truly, Tottenham, yeah. You know what? Actually, in this game, Tottenham or Milan, whoever goes through, it feels like any of these two teams will get knocked out right in the next round. I would be shocked if Milan make it past the quarterfinals. But with Tottenham, it's such a toothless performance. Milan could have scored a goal in this game, but so could have Tottenham. And that's the thing. They will go back out of this game feeling like, maybe we could have got something. Harry Kane had about 2 or 3 chances where he really should have scored. For a player of his quality, he really should have scored at least 1 goal today, and he couldn't do it. And that's the thing with Tottenham right now.
See, now you're angling. See, now you're doing more ones. Now you're angling towards your agenda narrative. But it's okay.
No, it's not an agenda. Like, listen, if you want to get into it, like with Harry Kane, I'm not blaming him for this performance. I'm not blaming him for Tottenham going out. I just think Harry Kane, as much as he's a top-class striker, maybe arguably the best striker in the Premier League right now, he's proven when it really matters.
Right now. No, he's not right now. He's not. Again, he's not.
You don't think it's better than
False
Haaland?
narratives. False narrative again.
Okay, then fair enough.
Now?
But arguably, that's what I'm giving him his credit first. I'm saying,
okay, fair enough.
Even though we can say he's the best striker in the Premier League, where he's getting goals here and there, in the real big moments where the big players have to turn up, he just never does. He never, ever does. I can't remember one big game where he stood up. Even at the World Cup, what did he do with that penalty? This is little things. And I'm picking out one moment, but honestly, you go through his career, he's not going to have any memorable moments. And that, at the end of the day, is what is more important than getting 200 plus goals for Tottenham Hotspur. Who cares? Have some actual moments. I'd rather have Choupo-Moting's career than Harry Kane. And that might sound crazy.
Well, there you go.
I'd rather be Choupo-Moting.
Sani, Bilal has set the agenda and the narrative for the session, it seems, for the opening part. Harry Kane, again, bit of a rhyme there. Harry Kane, again, fails to win another trophy, a trophy in another season. How many more seasons? How many more attempts? Does he sign a new deal? Do you agree with Bilal's, I'd say, slightly naughty agenda?
I wouldn't say so. I mean, obviously, you can tell the Arsenal man within him is coming out there. But I think this is just Spurs summed up in a nutshell, to be honest with you. When the chips are down, when the pressure's down, they can't get it over the line. We've seen this since even when Harry Redknapp was around. This is going back when they made the Champions League, first of all, back in 11-12. When the chips are down, when the big games are there and the moments are needed, players just don't turn up. And this is back when Bale was around, Defoe, Robbie Keane, etc. I don't know what it is. Something's in that water in, was it N7? Is that the postcode that they're on? Maybe Bilal might know better, but yeah, it just didn't work out for them today. And some of the blame you could portion to Antonio Conte, which we'll probably get onto later. But yeah, it wasn't a good showing for Spurs. They were tepid. They didn't create that much chances. The only chance I can really think of that they had that was a proper clear-cut one is one at the end when was it a free kick that came in from Heung-min Son? Harry Kane headed it. It was a good save from Maignan. But other than that, wasn't good enough. And then Romero got sent off as well. Just not a good night for Tottenham Hotspur.
Michael, what? Like what? Like, we looked at the predicted lineups yesterday. I think they were pretty much as we expected, right, guys? Oh, Messias instead of Salamakas. Apart from that, we got the predictions correct, team predictions. We anticipated a dead game. We anticipated dead tactics. Pioli versus Conte. At halftime, I don't know if you guys saw my tweet. In fact, speak on it and I'll tell you what was halftime expected goals. Sorry.
Yeah, Pioli's the first, just to quickly, Michael, didn't let you go. I think Pioli's the first AC Milan manager to beat an English side since 04-05 that Milan beat Man United. So that's some achievement.
06-07, yeah.
Was it 06-07? So one of those years. So yeah, that's a big achievement still for Milan, I guess. Right, in some then again it's Tottenham, so maybe it's not. But yeah, go on, Michael.
Now with Spurs, that was just they didn't create an over 1 xG throughout the whole tie over both legs. They had like 0.98. That's just embarrassing. Yeah, for halftime 0.09.
Check this out. This is real. This is not made up shit. This is the XG philosophy account. Like, that's a serious named account. Surely it's serious. Like, that's XG philosophy, motherfuckers. This ain't no joke. XG philosophy, 0.09 for Spurs, 0.10 for Milan. Michael, what are they supposed to do with this?
Spurs. I'm talking about Harry Kane. When the chips are down, this guy won't step up. That's I hate to get on, bro, but he generally might go down as like the greatest player to never win a trophy. I can't think of a great player that hasn't won a trophy. Like, can you guys
Can we think of
one?
anyone better? Yeah, let's ask.
They used to say this about Lukaku a few years ago, like, oh, he's scoring all these goals, but what for?
Yeah, like
Well,
what are you
Lukaku
scoring these
got-
goals for, man? Like, I don't get
it.
Why
Medals, though.
he's Michael. That's why you can't call him a great player. He's not.
Hey,
a
that
great player.
and I get that. Yo, people have that. I get that. That's a fair argument. Heung-min Son. I've been saying this since the beginning of the season. This guy is cooked product. It's not good anymore. He's lost his kind of his clinical finishing, and that was his best attribute. So what does he offer you from that? Their midfield and defense was solid, except Christian Romero. I swear to God, every game I watch Christian Romero, I think he's getting sent off every single game. Like, I haven't seen a game where I don't think he'll get sent off.
It's true.
Today he even got sent off while getting injured. That just sums him up. He's that rash. He's like a hothead. It's the Argentinian gene. Every Argentinian center back I've ever seen in my life, most of them are hotheads. Marcos Rojo, even Licha, they're all hotheads. And Christian Romero
Otamendi, Martinez.
Christian Romero might be the ultimate one, though, because at least the other ones kind of have some assertiveness to them. This guy, every single challenge he goes into, it's a yellow card challenge, but referees don't always give it. But for Milan, that was a professional performance in the sense that their experience showed. That shows why they won a trophy last year. They knew when to draw the fouls and everything. Mike Minan, I said it last week on yours. I said this guy, he's the most important player on that team because we saw what Tatu Rosano, this guy was conceding goals left and right. Mike Minan is one of the best goalkeepers in the world, and that save sums him up. That back line, that's Tiao. The introduction to him has changed their season because he is a rock. He's better than, Simon Kjær was a good player, but Tiao is just the young. He's aggressive, proper center back. Tomori was immense today. Brahim Diaz had a couple nice touches. Teo was good as always. It's just a solid performance from Milan, and obviously I do think quarterfinals is the limit, but you never know what can happen at San Siro. That place will be rocking. Their UCL heritage could pull through if they come up against a little smaller side, like maybe let's say Porto beat Inter, for example, which I don't think will happen, but I could see AC Milan beating
Benfica.
Porto. I don't know about that.
Maybe you never know.
But you never know. But you never know, of course. But yeah, I just think Milan were more professional today, and Spurs. We'll get into Antonio Conte, but spooky.
Before we do get onto Conte, Mo, let's speak on Milan because look, they did go through. Are you going to throw us any shed of weight to say Milan can progress past the next stage? Are you going to give us any ideas of what they could do? Anyone missing from the lineup? I don't really see it. Rebic has not been in favor. Anyone else that stands out could improve this team? Benacer came on in the second half, yeah. But for me, I think Michael's spot on with the Malik Thiaw. I think he's been a sensational addition. When I say addition into the lineup, he's made them rock solid. If nothing else, and I emphasize nothing else, at least they look defensively sound now.
I think Milan are not as bad now. It's one of the worst sides I have seen in years, but they're not as bad now as we make them sound. And like Diaz today was really good today. Rafael Leao, I thought that Rafael Leao played to the level of the game. Like it looked like he played to the level of the game.
But
like
guys, I'm so sorry, but guys, this is where I hate you lot. I hate you lot here. This is why I hate you lot. Every week I hear this. Right? You speak on oldies like Harry Kane and Messi. Where are they? No, this is Leao's time. This is Kvaratskhelia time. This is Mbappe's time. These guys. If the game is shit, Messi in those days, if he was the same age, same situation, he would rise to the occasion. Ronaldo would rise to the occasion.
Yeah, but Rafael Leao is not Messi. But Rafael Leao is not Messi.
But he's been talked about. Yeah, but he's been talked about as the next £100 million attacker.
Jack Grealish is 100 million. Mudryk is 100 million. I'm sorry. Like the way you talk about Leao, I never said Leao was Messi. I said Leao is as good as better than Jack Grealish, is as good as Kvaratskhelia. But I still think today, one of the reasons...
That's wild. That bit is always wild to me. He is not on the cover.
But just to let you know that in 20 minutes, the 3 center backs of Tottenham got yellow cards because of him in 20 minutes.
He's a threat.
He's absolutely a threat. And every time he was on the ball, he looked like he's very comfortable dribbling them, trying to cross, creating a shot. Every time he got on the ball, he looked very comfortable, never troubled. Again, 23 years old, needs coaching, can be coached to a better final product. It can be. It can happen. But again, Milan, For me, they remind me of Verratti last year. Anything can happen with this team. Verratti last year, they knocked out Bayern Munich 1-0 and 1-0 as well, or 2-1 the second leg. It can happen. However, they were never going to be favorite against any team, even against Benfica, in my opinion, even if they play Benfica. They look solid defensively now because Tau is back, Tomori. Mike Maignan is absolutely a beast and a goalkeeper. Kalulu has been developing. But that's it. Ben Nasser is back. I think the weaker player in this team is Giroud, which is very strange. He really, really now is holding the team back going forward. He's really holding the team back.
Again, someone who's way past his time.
Exactly.
You know, they've got Origi, who's just as bad, probably. hasn't played a game of football in whatever, how many years, I don't even know.
When Giroud is keeping you out of the lineup, well, you got to take a hard look at yourself in the mirror.
We're gonna get onto this in a couple of minutes, LFC Aaron. Pixelate Pigeon says Liao looks so confident in the ball. I think Bilal, you said it. Sometimes he looks a bit too confident or too casual on the ball. I'm not sure if it was you or someone else said it. But yeah, look, it was pretty dire. Liao can't be replied upon. Our very own No Beat says front runner type player where he is alive in a big lead.
He's perfect on the counter. I mean, him and Theo Hernandez on that left side.
Harsh.
Amazing.
That's kind of harsh because last year when Milan were like 0-0, he was the one that was scoring the decisive goals to win them the title.
Michael S says, I'm a Milan fan, and I can honestly say Liao is not that guy. Not ability, but attitude-wise.
Yes, like Martial. But Sani just said something, is that Theo Hernandez as well on that side helps a lot. One of the things I noticed today, and we didn't talk about, is that Theo Hernandez looked a level above everybody else on the pitch. Everybody else. Like, including Harry Kane, defending Harry Kane one-on-one. He looked very comfortable putting his body on in front of Harry Kane or Son, getting the ball. Kulusevski as well looked like a mediocre player on that side. I don't like his attitude, Theo Hernandez, but as a player, what a player. The strength, the runs, the defensive coverage now, especially as a wing back, not as a left back in a back four.
He's perfect in the transition. If you see the amount of time, especially when Leao came on, every time Milan looked threatening, it was down that left side when Leao and Hernandez were connecting. And every time he broke through the lines, it was dangerous. And like I said, if they had a better finisher, different story. I think Milan could have won the game, maybe 2-0.
But they didn't.
No, they didn't.
But they got through. And that's the main thing. And who didn't get through? Again, Antonio Conte. Look, I'm going to first hold my hands up. You know, football opinions are a humbler. I genuinely thought this guy was an elite coach. Okay, two years ago, I thought, wow, Spurs have got one of the great coaches of recent times in. What a signing for Spurs. What a move from Spurs. They couldn't have got anyone better. Look, we talk about Spurs being Spursy and the club being whatever, just not up to winning trophies or anything like that. But if you look at his record, guys, and some of those teams, I mean, Sonny, I'll come to you. Can I
speak with that? No, I want to speak on him because he was my coach, and I want to speak on how Antonio Conte affects your club. But if you want to go for it, Sonny,
go for it, Mo.
One thing, Antonio Conte is your perfect guy to build winners, but he's never the guy to take you to the next level. With Juventus, when he came to Juventus, they were 10th, and he won the league the year after, and he made the defensive solidity of Juventus that we know, the Barzalis, the Bonucci's, the Chiellinis. This is Antonio Conte's work. It's nobody else's. These guys were not as good as we know him to be later. It's only because of him. And at Chelsea, he did exactly the same. They were 10th, a solid team. At Inter, the same. But he's never the guy to take you to the next level. And that's what he's good at. He builds winners on the team. But he has to go after. Because he just puts a system in and he has to go. And someone else, Allegri, took Juventus team that Conte built to 2 Champions League finals. They were very unlucky in the first one against Barcelona. But it was Conte's work. This was Conte's team, and Allegri took it to the next level. Antonio Conte is a very good coach, wins you the league, create a good system, but he's not the coach that will take you to the top of the world. He's not that guy. But he will create a good team for the club.
Has he created a good team then? Sani, I'll come to you now then. Mo has given us the background in his time in Italy. Look, I'm not going to lie. I don't recall the teams he had at Juventus at the time. I don't recall if they were very good in Serie A. Mo, I don't know if I can quickly come back to you. Were they?
He won the league with them 3 years in a row, and he had Bonucci coming from Bari. I guess it was Marchisio. Pirlo was at the end of his career at Milan. He revived his career going to Juventus, if we remember that. Giorgio Chiellini was not the guy that we think about him now. Barzali was at the end of his career. He created the guy, made him a superstar again in the Italian league. You remember Liechtenstein from on the right side. He actually created winners, and they dominated for 9 years because of him. And at Chelsea, you remember Chelsea's team were 10th the year before under Mourinho, and he took them to win the league right away the year after.
So, Sane, what is it with Conte? Not only in Europe, but it seems like he's lost his edge in the league as well. I know he's fourth at the moment, but it's one of those seasons where, you know, it's a battle of the shittest to be fourth, really. Like whoever's the fifth, you know, whoever's the least shittest is probably going to get that fourth place. What's gone wrong with Conte? What's the issue here? I just find him so stubborn and so backward in his methods. I don't know. I don't know what to say because he's really disappointed me because I rated him and I've been wrong.
No, of course, you've hit the nail on the head. Very, very stubborn. If we look at his Spurs side right now, he is severely lacking creativity in the middle of the park. I mean, as we saw with that side they had against Milan, Højbjerg, Skip, Royal and Perisic. That's your midfield with your two central midfielders being Højbjerg and Skip. There's not a lot of creativity there. In years gone by for Spurs, they had the likes of Eriksen, even Dembele, who was very progressive with the ball, carrying that ball forward. There's no one in that side really that you could pinpoint. In the Juve sides that Mo alluded to, you had your Pirlos who could control the tempo in the play. Marchisio was great. I mean, if you look at the record that Spurs, well, Conte has in the Champions League, he's only ever beaten Celtic in the knockout stages, which, fair play, Celtic is always hard going to Celtic Park, but it's not something to, you know, shout about. 13-14, they lost in the group stages. They lost to Real Madrid and Galatasaray, who were first and second. 17-18. They lost to Barcelona in the knockout stages. 19-20, they finished behind Barcelona and Dortmund. 2021, they finished behind Madrid, Mönchengladbach, and Donetsk. It's not a good showing for Conte, especially the group stages. You'd expect him to get out the group stages at least with the sides that he's had, because people forget that Chelsea side, he was the first manager really to implement that three-back in England with Victor Moses playing that right wing-back. Now, right now in Spurs, it's not really worked out. His contract's obviously up in arms, basically, in the summer. I don't think he's going to extend it.
No way.
And I think it's over.
Bilal, it's over. Bittersweet for you because you probably want him to continue, right?
It's one of those ones. I don't really know because you know what it is with Conte when they signed him, Tottenham. I was like, damn, what a signing, getting Antonio Conte, because I was watching his Interside a lot, and his Interside were playing with such intensity. They were playing with the three at the back. They'd also have three in midfield and the two up front. And I was just like, that team there I used to watch them, even Champions League. I can't remember who they got knocked out by one of the knockout games. I don't know if you can remind me, but they should have went through. It was one of those ones where I was watching them in the league in Europe, and I was so impressed with what he was doing. I was like, yeah, Conte, he's found his groove again after everything that happened at Chelsea. But it's all falling apart. And even last season, they managed to pip Arsenal to that fourth place spot. You think, build on from there. You've got that Champions League that you really wanted. Go attract the players. They've gone and signed the Perisic, Bissouma, all of these sort of players, Richarlison. And it's not gone anywhere. It's gone backwards.
The argument that we always get is they weren't his signings. He's too much into my signings or no signings. He's like that, isn't he? Like, he didn't play Bissouma, he didn't play Jed Spence, he only played, you know, Romero, Perisic, his players, like the only ones that are so obvious. You can't function like that.
Something's wrong there.
If you've got a sporting director, you can't function like that, surely. In the modern day age, you have to get on. I know he got on because that's his boy, the sporting director, as well. Exactly. That's what makes it a bit weird. So who's calling the shots there? It's wild.
But really and truly, think about how Conte even went to Tottenham. He didn't want to go to Tottenham.
He didn't want to go.
He got forced into it in the end. Like, I can't remember how it happened, but towards the end, obviously, just like, okay, I'll just accept the Tottenham job. I think Man United job became available.
He wanted to go
Obviously,
to Man United, but
yeah.
then they extended Ollie's
Yeah, that's what
contract.
happened. Exactly.
And because Ranier came, and then
so he just went to
Lucky.
Tottenham. He got his big contract. Paratici is his boy, and then he tried to do something there. But really and truly, his heart was never in going to Tottenham, and maybe that's a problem from the beginning. He didn't really want to be there. Obviously, thought he was too good to go there, and probably still feels like he's too good to be at Tottenham. So it's one of those ones. That's probably a reason it's not working as well.
Well, this is the big question then, Michael. If he genuinely thinks he's too big for Spurs and he's confident that he'll get another job, is he? I'm going to come to Mo. What are the possibilities? Because surely it's only Italy, right? Like, I can't imagine a La Liga team going for Conte. Definitely not the top two, right? Madrid or the Barcelona. I can't see any English team going for him, guys.
Chelsea.
Not right now. Not right now.
You never know.
And PSG not going to go down that route, and he won't go. He won't want to go down with that attitude of players. We'll get onto them later. Where would he go next, Michael?
It has to be Serie A. And then
Oh, what a shout! How about this?
Atletico.
Yeah, no, that's what I thought. If Simeone leaves, and the more you watch Aleti and the things Simeone's doing, I just don't think he's leaving anytime soon. I feel like Simeone's going to be there another 10 years. So I don't think that's ever going to happen. It all depends on if Simeone went to an Inter and that job becomes available, then a Conte, could go through.
It's interesting because you look at the Serie A jobs, like obviously Juventus. I don't think Allegri's gonna get sacked anytime soon. He's getting too much money. They can't afford. He's back and they can't afford to really sack him because they're already in their financial trouble. Inter, I don't think he'll go back there. Milan are comfortable with Pioli. Napoli obviously has Spalletti, so it's really interesting. Maybe he waits out for maybe Mancini to get sacks from Italy. Was the international route? Maybe, I don't know.
This is why he's at Tottenham. Look at us trying to work out the jobs for him. This is exactly why he's at Tottenham, because a lot of these teams, either he's been there before in Italy, the jobs are not open for him. In England, Chelsea was the only job he came and done. The other teams in England, like an Arsenal, Man United, Liverpool, would never hire an Antonio Conte. So it's one of those ones where he's in that position where there's only a select few clubs he would want to go to, number one, and then number two would actually want him. So it's a tough one for him. So I don't know.
What's the mood in Italy?
I think the club damages coaches. If we look at the coaching at Spurs, I think Spurs as a club, the pressure of the fans asking for trophies, I think, and I'm sorry if for Spurs fans, but they think they are bigger than what they actually are. And that's the problem. It's a big problem when you think you're as big as other teams, but you're not. For Antonio Conte, I think for family reasons, he would go to Italy next season for family reasons. The family is still in Italy, and because of the health issues, the problem is he needs to understand that you're not going to get the money that you used to get in back in Chelsea, or you asked for Inter or Spurs. So you'll have to accept the situation in Serie A. The closer one is going to be Inzaghi at Inter if he leaves. But the problem is Antonio Conte's wage is about 12 million net, and that's a lot of money in Serie A. I think he's going to lower his demand to get a job in Serie A, and I think the closer one is going to be Inter.
Inter would be perfect because his team was honestly so good at Inter.
It's built for three, and it's built for his system.
Yeah.
Wow. How will the fans take? Match. So how will the fans take it like that? Because LFC Aaron's got a good shout. Surely Mourinho ain't lasting at Roma.
No, Mourinho is gonna
do well, man.
I think he'll be fine.
Mourinho's doing well. They're fourth now. They are on the right track to make Champions League football.
And they're doing all right in the Europa League as well. They've got Sociedad, which I think is not a bad fixture for them, to be fair.
They're not bad.
And their stadium every week. And their stadium sells out every week.
Yeah,
it's packed
not bad at all.
Honestly,
people just
I must admit that the way we're talking about Antonio Conte's job, it's not Eurostars, it's a bloody job centre. Like we're talking about, should he go here? Should he go there? Like,
we might as well be, man. He needs to put out. It's not. Do you know what I say to my son?
Helping a brother out, man.
I always say, start getting your CV out early. Like he needs to start putting out his CV out early, man.
Go on LinkedIn.
Go on LinkedIn, man. He needs to start early because it's not easy.
You know who had a LinkedIn? Jesse Marsh, at least.
Yeah, he did. I actually connected with him.
Oh my! I didn't know, man. Yeah, one of the reasons apparently got sacked.
Gianni, says Conte will go back to Juve because Juve have problems. Allegri is leaving. Simeone is linked with Inter, but Conte is overrated. History shows, to be honest. I don't think Allegri is.
Yeah, Allegri's not leaving.
Yeah, maybe about 6 weeks ago, 4 to 6 weeks ago, he was in big trouble. But
I don't know why people think, Grizz, that Conte is overrated. Just 2 years ago, he won a Serie A with Inter, breaking Juventus cycle. And before that, he won the league with Chelsea. And he reached Europa League final with Inter, with a team that was not expected. So I don't know why people, because of, and also last year, he made Champions League football with a diabolical Spurs lineup. Some of these players, people said they're not fit to top 10 in the Premier League. You remember all the Dyer, the Davies, and all these, the Højbjergs. He only had 2 signings, which was Kulusevski and I think Bentancur, and he made top 4 on top of Arsenal, who we know Arsenal now are playing like champions. So for me, I don't know why people say Conte is overrated. I don't see it based on what evidence.
I think people look at his Champions League record, but I gave the context earlier. 12-13. Juve went out to Bayern, who ended up winning the treble. They beat Barca 7-0 in the Champions League semi-finals. 13-14, he was at Juve. Or admittedly, Real Madrid finished top of their group. Galatasaray finished second. You could have argued maybe Conte should have gone through. 17-18, they lost to Barcelona in the round of 16, 4-1 in aggregate. Maybe they could have gone through, but again, Barca were looking good. They only went out to Roma Barca in that crazy comeback. 19-20, he was at Inter. Barca and Dortmund finished above them. You could argue maybe Dortmund, but listen, that's going to be a tough game regardless.
So, Sonny, you are basing this on Champions League record? But Pep Guardiola hasn't won Champions League.
People are, because, and I'm trying to give the context that some of these groups were hard. So, I mean, like I said, 17-18, that was tough. 13-14, maybe. 12-13, they lost to Bayern. 19-20, that's a tough group. 20-21, Madrid, Mönchengladbach, and Donetsk. Listen, maybe they could have finished third or second, but again, they're tough groups for Inter Milan, in my opinion.
So but forget all of this. I don't get it. He built Juventus they went to the Serie B. They came back with some of their players, and he won the league.
But Mo, bringing Juve back in the era he did is like saying bringing Celtic back from Division 1 in Scotland. I'm sorry, Juve is the old lady of Italy. It's going to come back. I don't think it's a magnificent job as you claiming it to be. That's just my opinion. I don't think he's overrated. I just think every manager has a shelf life. And I believe there was a message. There was I don't think he's overrated. I think he just needs specific circumstances to be successful. Now, for me, that doesn't make him elite. I don't think he's an elite coach. I don't think he's an elite manager. I think there's issues. I think he's very good. And as you guys have spoken about his record and his teams, you can't deny that. I agree. I don't think he's overrated because I don't rate him now as an elite manager overall. So I think there's a debate.
Yeah, he was never an elite man. He was never Pep, Alex Ferguson. He was on
the trajectory of the time that you spoke about. He was on the trajectory. For example, if he enabled Spurs to win a trophy, I was ready to call him elite because no fuck has done that ever in the history of the Tottenham. All right. So that's the levels that you aspire to make yourself elite. Now we can talk about circumstances, not given the money, problems at Levy, blah, 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 blah. But then you've got to look past that. We can't always use that as a barometer. Money. Gianni says Conte won with Juve because of financial problems through all of Serie A. As an Inter fan, you should remember that. I think he's talking
the other way around, my friend Gianni. It's the other way around. Juventus were the one that was struggling. Like Juventus signed free agents throughout the first 5 years after 2010. You remember the Patrice Evras, the Dani Alves. They were all free agents, free players coming in. So it wasn't. They were just right recruitment and the right coaching at that time. So
I swear they won Invincible. I swear they won Invincible 1 year too.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, they did.
Wait, hold on, guys. Hold on. I don't want to speak. Like, we haven't got 100 likes. There's 300 of you in there, and there's not even 100 like. I don't get it.
200 likes.
Smash a like.
Wow. Like, how embarrassing is that? That's like pretty much you're calling us Tottenham.
Shout out one day Ramos though.
Yeah. You might as well call us Tottenham, innit? The Tottenham Hotspur show. How's that, man, possible? Thank you, Saeed, for keeping an eye on that and letting me know, man. Big up Saeed, man. He's just about recovered. I've been calling him every night to see he's okay and all that. You know what I mean? Everything's good. I've been calling him 7 times a day.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's all good. It's all good. Look, all right, Spurs are out. Nothing to play for. In one word, does Conte stay? And if he doesn't, who takes over at Spurs? Bilal, I hope that's not too much of a hard question.
No, and Pochettino.
Not Thomas Tuchel?
You know what? He's a Tottenham fan. You know he's a Tottenham fan.
I don't think he goes anywhere near that job.
Thomas Tuchel is a Tottenham fan.
Yeah, he's a Tottenham fan.
We get someone to...
Yeah, I know why. Because Jurgen Klinsmann, when he played for Spurs, Germany links. I think that's why he mentioned that.
Listen,
interesting.
He could.
Sonny,
I don't think he ever said he was a fan. He said he admired them. He never said he was like a fan of them.
Yeah, but
he has to get a job, guys. He has to
had his VAT, his own VAT. And
Tuchel's waiting for that. Tuchel's waiting for that PSG job. That's what he's waiting for.
He's not going back. He fall off with the owners.
No. He filed with Leonardo, the director who left. Him and Nazir still talk. There's like,
can someone get me? Bilal, can you get me the post-match? Apparently,
Conte probably had. It's probably Conte meltdown. Oh, it's probably.
Yeah, he goes mad, doesn't he? Sonny, is he staying? And what do Spurs do after Conte?
Yeah, well, they're going to be saying arrivederci because, he's gone. I mean, it's funny you mentioned Tuchel's obviously a Spurs fan. I got flashbacks like Wout Weghorst is a Liverpool fan after touching that time. But anyway, we're on about Champions League.
This is good. Respect.
No, I agree with Bilal. I think the Pochettino move actually does make sense. I think they need, to go again once more. Why they sacked him to begin with, I think was crazy, but that's just Spurs. I don't think Tuchel works there. I genuinely don't think Tuchel works there. I think Pochettino is perfect for that job where he doesn't have as high expectations. Because if Tuchel goes in, the expectations, Mo already said it, Spurs fans have an expectation that they have to win a trophy. I think with Pochettino, he always had that thing of, he hasn't won a trophy. But I know he's obviously won the French league, but not having that expectation of being that elite coach who's won a Champions League means that expectations will be lowered. Pochettino can start again, and I think Pochettino would be the right fit.
Michael?
Have a look at this, guys, before Michael goes.
Oh, sorry, go on.
Quotes. So he says, Antonio Conte says, I'm under contract at Tottenham. Then we will decide at the end of the season with the club. My contract expires in June. We will see. They might sack me even before the end of the season.
Jesus
Who knows?
Christ.
Maybe they are disappointed. So he's
clocked out, man.
This. Yeah, he's had enough, man.
And he called out his team. He said Milan are the champions of Italy and Spurs are struggling to get Champions League football in Premier League. So he called out his team.
Yeah,
basically.
Pioli also said that Spurs wouldn't surprise him, and he wasn't wrong because they didn't.
Nah.
And that's saying a lot about the opposition if a manager's actually saying they're not going to surprise us, which they didn't. So
they didn't.
Yeah, it's an indictment. It's an absolute indictment.
But they didn't even until the 10 men totally ruined it, the sending off. But there was no urgency. There was no change of plan. There was no change of tactics. He's bought Danjuma. Who bought Danjuma?
I haven't seen him yet.
Who bought Danjuma?
They should have let him go Everton. You know those kind of moves. Like, what's the point? Like, do they hate Everton? Do they want them to get relegated?
Richarlison. Who bought Richarlison? He doesn't trust him.
Everton agenda. I'm telling you, they took Richarlison. They stole Danjuma.
Awful, Grizz.
He should have got a red card.
In hindsight, the window's not good in hindsight. If you look at, like I said, midfielders, I know Basuma's a good player, but is he creative? They have no creativity whatsoever, Spurs. Where you meant to
Sonny, if they have creativity, he'll nullify it. He doesn't want creativity in the midfield. He wants the perfect player midfield that can do everything. He thinks Skip and Højbjerg and Bentancur are those guys. That's the kind of profile he wants in midfield. Like he wants that profile. Who was the ones at Inter, Mo?
Nobody.
Brozovic.
Christian Eriksen came to Inter and thought he's going to play a number 10. And he put him on the bench until Christian Eriksen understood that he's going to play as a regista.
There you go.
And because his creativity comes from the sides or comes from the lone striker, like Costa. Even Eden Hazard played next to Costa at Chelsea, and Victor Moses and Alonso. He doesn't need a midfielder that creates. This thing that Spurs need a number 10, the guy all his life doesn't need a number 10. All his life he's playing with a deep line playmaker and needs the creativity comes from the sides. And he has absolutely atrocious wing backs, to be honest.
What a comparison. Balotelli and Richarlison.
Chill, respect Balotelli.
Absolutely, this is respect to Balotelli, the ability, Balotelli.
Balotelli's different level, but in terms of... craziness, right? And
Oh, so
Yeah,
it's funny.
but Richarlison is crazy. Bilal
without
without ability. Richarlison is crazy without ability.
Let's get to the main game, man.
Yes.
Enough about Spurs, man.
Quick question. Just on Tottenham. Literally, I'm sorry. Just quick.
Oh,
question.
you're loving this shit. Oh,
Yeah, I'm
you're
just loving it too much.
this.
When is the
Oh,
next
you're
time
loving
they will
this.
enter the Champions League? Because for me,
I've said this. I got slaughtered on it on Big Six. Toby went mad. He wanted to jump through the screen and smash me up. I put the question. I said, if they don't reach Champions League this season, I genuinely don't see them getting it for a long time.
2028. That's my guess.
They are the club that will to be kicked out of the top 6, and they would be replaced by Newcastle if Newcastle invest in the right coach and the right players in the next couple of years. And I think they're gonna get a top coach this Newcastle team, and they're gonna. I think
that is the only club though in the Premier League that will ever sign Conte. It will be Newcastle. I think that's the only hope he has of staying in the Premier League.
Newcastle would not allow that.
But I don't think they'll do it. But I'm
him,
saying that's the only club I could see him like in the Premier League. It'll only be Newcastle because they're the only ones that need to upgrade in a sense.
The only terrorism that
allow it, innit? You've been slandering Conte from minute one.
Can we talk about PSG now?
Yeah,
you have a moment and laugh at them.
Spurs, you want to laugh at them all day, man. Move your picture, man. Get out of here. PSG Bayern was 1-0. Bayern dominated 75 minutes in the first leg. Mbappe, we saw glimpses of Mbappe. We thought again, we pretty much picked both teams. This was exactly the teams we had in mind. I don't believe this was the formation at all, to be honest with you. I think Bayern for sure played 3 at the back with Stanisic, Upamecano, De Ligt, Davis and Coleman as wingbacks, Goretzka and Kimmich, Musiala and Muller behind Choupo-Moting. The PSG one was the interesting one, how they're going to set up without Neymar. Obviously, they went with the extra midfielder in midfield. And Bilal, for the first 20 minutes, 25 minutes, they had Bayern nervous, and they really should have capitalized.
Yeah, listen, I know you were telling me high press PSG. I'm like, bro, don't be fooled by this. This is something that could have happened in the game. But you know what? Fair play to them. PSG did do really well in that first 20, 25 minutes, and they should have scored at that point. And at the time, I was saying, listen, if this team doesn't score now, PSG, and you just let Bayern slowly come into the game, they're going to just kill you. And obviously, in the end, that's what happened. But yeah, with PSG, they started off well. They were pressing really high up the pitch. And I think the injuries, obviously, to Marquinhos was a bit of a blow to them.
Yeah, that was a killer.
Yeah, that was a big one. But they look good. They look good, especially how high they were playing up the pitch. They were squeezing, Bayern Munich. And also, that let Messi kind of be in a free role. It looked like the Nagelsmann and Bayern Munich were more obviously focused on Mbappe for obvious reasons, trying to cancel him out. They let Messi try and float about. But when PSG were really starting to press high, it looked like Messi was not the player you want to let be free, right? He started to play a few passes. He started picking up, a few free kicks here and there. It looked like Messi was about to take the game. But really and truly, all of this sort of collapsed. Marquinhos gets injured. Mukiele comes on, gets sent or subbed off again. I'm pretty sure did he get injured as well? I'm assuming.
Injured as well.
Yeah, he did. I thought he just got hooked.
Yeah, I don't know. It might have just got hooked. I just want to be nice to the guy and say he got injured. So I don't know. I just saw he didn't come back. He just came on. It didn't come back. That must be the shortest Champions League appearance.
He must be injured, man. He must have got injured.
Yeah, surely. But yeah, no, PSG did well, but really and truly, it's not enough. But they had that big chance, right? De Ligt with that crazy clearance, and that was the moment. That was the moment PSG had to get that first goal. And the moment you don't get the first goal away from home against Bayern, long day for them. But fair play to Bayern as well. They grew into the game. Coman, for me, is one of my favorite players, man. So intelligent. Like, right wing back at times, one of the biggest attacking threats as well. His intelligence was one counter attack where he's literally just dropped the shoulder. I'm just like, yeah, this guy is just a joke of a player. Musiala looked good as well, right? Choupo-Moting, we give him slander, but every time he's playing for Bayern Munich, there's reasons he's playing because he actually offers so much. I remember that game, that 3-0 against Barcelona this season, and Choupo-Moting was probably the best player on the pitch, or if not the top 3 best players on the pitch. So he does offer a lot to them. Goretzka and Kimmich, right? Especially Goretzka was putting himself about. I don't know how many times Messi got buddied in that game, but really and truly, Bayern Munich played a professional game, and in that second half, they took over and they showed that they are Champions League quality.
Contenders,
and PSG, contenders, all sorts. And this is why I can never count out Bayern Munich. It's not a team to get knocked out in the round of 16, especially when the cards are in their favor. And this is this is a Bayern without Lewandowski and without Manuel Neuer, two players who have, for the last decade, really held them up, really been the difference maker that made them even more of a monster team. But then you look at their bench that came on, the likes of Sane, the likes of Mane, the likes of Gnabry. Like, look at that quality on the bench as well. This is a team that can definitely win the Champions League, in my opinion.
We'll get on to Bayern Munich because obviously they went through. Or we'll stick with Bayern actually for now. I've asked Bilal to look up something for in PSG terms, but Sane, I want to speak about. Obviously, everyone wants to talk about sort of the Colemans and the Musialas of this world, but De Ligt was bought as a massive signing, huge money, huge pressure. He's playing in a system that is quite similar to playing in not in the three at the back, but in terms of the way we press Liverpool and the play we play high line at Liverpool. And he got caught out a couple of times in his first few months and whatnot. Rough, tough start. Right now, he's one of the best centre-backs in Europe. I'm telling you now for a fact. Go check out De Ligt's performances. He's really gone up a notch. I'm still so unsure about Upamecano, but I'm so sure about De Ligt.
Mm-hmm. No, De Ligt was magnificent for Bayern today. I mean, I know Fatma would give him an 8.3 rating, but he was fantastic. He also had that goal line clearance, which, to be fair, the game was, I think if PSG got that goal, Vitinha could have been a very, very interesting game.
They were nervous. I know Bilal was talking it down, but they were nervous and so was Bilal.
Yeah, I think if they got that goal, could have been a very interesting game, but De Ligt was magnificent. Even when he progresses with the ball up the pitch, he's really good and composed. And I know you said you're a bit unsure with Upamecano, but you have to give him credit. I think he did really well this game against Mbappe. He did marshal him really well. But De Ligt, like you said, he had that initial patch at Bayern where people were like, oh, he's overrated. This is why he wasn't good enough for Juve, and this is why he didn't live up to the promise. But he was a great centre-back at Ajax, and I'm happy for him. I think he's a great centre-back, and he performed really well. And like Bilal said, they are going to be contenders. They're a well-oiled machine, Bayern Munich. In terms of the last 16, the last 15 seasons, they've progressed 14 times. So your money would have really been on Bayern to progress. They don't really lose a lot at home. I mean, Mo mentioned it earlier, Villarreal did beat them last year. But other than that, there's not many times you beat Bayern at the Allianz. And I mean, I know you're going to move on to Michael next, but give a shout out to that midfield. Kimmich and Goretzka, amazing. Especially Goretzka. He did a really good job on Messi, I must say. Such a physical player and very intelligent player as well. But yeah, shout out Bayern Munchen.
When you come to intelligence, I don't think there's a more intelligent footballer on the earth than Kimmich. That's just my personal opinion. I just think he operates at a total different level. So not talked about enough. And Choupo-Moting, look, we've heard the jokes about how good his agent must be and this and that, but he does the job, Michael. He does the job. Now, I know it was pretty much a tap-in or whatever. It wasn't the hardest of goals today, but talk about this guy, man. Like all these star names and everything else throughout the squad, they pick up someone like Choupo-Moting, and the structure and the foresight of Nagelsmann has got him a vital member of this team.
Yeah, I mean, Choupo-Moting, even like without the goal, he was the one that got the header for the offside goal. He was the one that kind of flicked it onto Muller. So even though he had a howl like 2 minutes before that, but he's just a good player, and he's just I know people say his agent, but there's a reason why these elite clubs signed him. It's not just because like the agent. There's a reason why PSG signed him, and he was crucial in that lockdown run. He's the one that scored the winner against Atalanta in the quarterfinals. He was crucial in like the semifinals. I think he scored 2. So he's just a solid player, solid striker. Obviously, I think when Mane comes back, he'll go into the 9, but he's solid depth option. And there's a reason why Bayern are extending his contract. It's not just a one and done. But there's other players. I think Upamecano, there is not a player that has kind of impressed me more in Europe this season, Upamecano, because last year I thought this guy was like, he's not a good center back, but at the World Cup, for me, he was immense. He was France's best center back at the World Cup, in my opinion. And he was really solid tonight. Same with De Ligt. I've been on De Ligt at Juve because I thought he was. I didn't think the levels kind of dropped from Ajax to Juve, but he looks really solid, and that block was immense. But I also think PSG like the only club in UCL that will kind of miss that chance. That just sums up PSG as a whole. But Stanisic, I think he's like 19, 20 years old. Steps up against Kylian Mbappe. He's really young.
He was quality.
And he's not even a center back. He plays center back today, but he's typically a right back. But I think he's tall, so I think that's why Nagelsmann trusted him in that role. And Musiala, that kid is special. He's the type of player that can save football in a sense that he's just transcendent. The dribbling, I think he completed like 10 dribbles. You can't get him off the ball. And once and his final third action is still decent, but once he hits like another level in that, we're talking about a player for me that can hit Ballon d'Or levels. I think he's that good and he's just amazing. There's a reason why they call him Bambi, because he's silky on the pitch, just amazing.
It's a brilliant segue, and I'm going to come to Mo, and this could be another argument between me and Mo, possibly, because this segues into Marco Verratti. We've just spoken about Musiala, just spoken about Kimmich, totally different players. But what I mean by mentioning those guys is Marco Verratti. Let's go back, I don't know, 5 years, 4 years, was seen as the next, whatever you want. Like, put in any name you want, the next, that. A gem of a player, had it all. Can you just give us, in your opinion, why he chose PSG, why he decided to stay at PSG? And to me, his game hasn't developed. And today people have been on my case, like, how can you judge him on that? I'm not judging on that. I've been saying it ever since we started Eurostars, and Verratti gets into the conversation. I think he's a perfect example, or one of the worst examples, whichever way you want to look at it, of this PSG team attitude, fakeness, didn't uplift themselves, spend, no structure throughout the club. A man of his experience now is trying to play ball there in that situation. Bayern Munich in the second half have really gone up 10 yards in the press. Why did Marco Verratti, in my opinion, pretty much waste his great potential career?
So Marco Verratti was in Serie B, and then Carlo Ancelotti took over PSG, and he convinced him to go there. And nobody can compete with PSG wage for a midfielder. He's getting paid a lot of money, and he signed a 7-year contract with a lot of money. And it looks like this player never cared about winning the Champions League or advancing his career. All he cared about is moving from Serie B to a big club like PSG. He was playing with the likes of Zlatan, Cavani, winning Ligue 1, and he didn't care. To be honest, he's playing for the national team in Italy, and he didn't care. On ability, Marco Verratti is one of the best players on the ball. Today,
this is my point.
Today, he has the best number on the pitch in terms of number of passes and pass success. The problem with him is that I don't think he cares about the club. Dribbling inside the 18 and turning like this, that means you're really playing your own game. You don't care about what's around you. Marco Verratti does this for the national team. He doesn't. For the Italian national team, he doesn't. He puts in tackles. Marco Verratti today intercepted about like 5, and dispossessed Bayern Munich 6 times. He had a very good first half. Okay for a midfielder, very good. The problem is, as you said, you summed it up really well. He is the image of this PSG team. No heart, no desire. Nobody cares about the team. They don't care. Everybody is playing in their own game. So Marco Verratti today, if it wasn't for the error, he would have been the best player on the pitch. I disagree with all of you that this game was so stale, and I couldn't see a winner. If that error didn't happen, I couldn't see any team actually threatening the goal unless
But I think that was calculated from Bayern Mo. I think if Bayern needed to score and up it, they were absolutely ready to up it and bat it, up the tempo, and they would have scored. But
I thought that Bayern Munich were a little bit anti PSG today. They were worried about Mbappe, especially the first 20 minutes. They tried to a little bit be deeper, a little bit. Goretzka was on Messi, and Upamecano and De Ligt were deeper. When you put a midfielder on the second striker, Messi, that means the coach is a little bit, you know what, we don't need to push all our players forward. He played Muller and Choupo-Moting, putting Sane, Mane, and Gnabry on the bench. That means he wanted experience up top instead of speed and youth. He was like very professional in the approach. I think that, I'm not sure if you guys can correct me, I felt like he knew that PSG will not score if he doesn't go full force forward.
I agree.
And I thought that Nagelsmann was on the sideline. It's like, you know what? If we play professional, have our lines compact, put someone on Messi, 2 guys on Mbappe, this team would never score if they played 3 more games. And I think this is why the game was a little bit stale.
It was a buy-in. It was a typical buy-in win. Ruthless, efficient. You know, as it was a German efficient machine. You got BM, Mercedes, and Audi. Just reliable. You just knew Bayern were going to do it.
But it wasn't always like that. This is what's confusing and a bit, because 1-0 was never 1-0 was never a good. I'm not going to start doing those. 2-0 was never a good lead, and 1-0 was never a good lead. But it genuinely isn't when you're coming home with a 1-0, because you don't look. If you win 1-0 at home, when you go away, you know your task. Keep a clean sheet. You're away from home. You know, defensive comes first. Defensive structure comes first. When you're at home, 75,000 Bavarians on your back, pushing you, urging you. You don't know whether to push, set, or twist. Like we already 1-0 up. You're in 2 minds what to do, or 3 minds what to do. But I think, and Nagelsmann especially, because Nagelsmann by nature is an attacking wild coach. Like he doesn't believe. Of course he does, but you know what I mean. He's attack first, creation first. Everything that we've discussed about Conte and the like, opposite, absolute opposite. He has 3-4 formations in a game. Players, multi-functional players can play in a few different positions. So I think it was nervous for them, but once they overcame that nerves and he got them in at half-time, it was a walk in the park. And especially against this PSG team. Mo is right. They're just I hate PSG, man. I hate PSG. I've told you guys
find
before,
other words.
I hate them. They're the worst example of fakeness, plasticness. They were so good without the Qatari money. Like they had some heritage, man. Like, do you know what I mean? There's some.
I don't know about that.
Fashion club, man.
Before Qatar, they were not doing anything in the late 2000s. Lyon was the classic.
No. And I'm talking before in the bloody Jean-Pierre
93, 94. You remember?
No,
okay. Oh yeah, back then. Yeah, that's
man.
A very good cup side.
Oh man, my mind's gone blank, man. They had some Ronaldinho days, man. Before Ronaldinho as well.
Yeah, I get that, but but if you're looking at the last decade, if Qatar never came to PSG would never. They wouldn't be that club. And
George Weah, Ronaldinho. What's his name? My mind's gone blank. I'm thinking about the Brazilian man.
Juninho.
Who?
Juninho.
He was at Lyon.
No,
that's Lyon.
Before Juninho, I'm talking about old school Brazilian. Michael, you probably wasn't born.
No,
Romario.
So sit this one out. The Brazilian maestro in midfield. Mo, come on, man.
You used to have this winger, Nene. That was like 10 years
ago.
Mazinho.
No, you're talking about Rai. Rai was in PSG.
Rai.
No,
guys,
these guys wouldn't
Ed
know.
Milson. Oh, God knows.
Guys, go and check out Rai. Last time I told you to go and check out Enzo Francescoli. I hope you guys did.
Rai, 1994 World Cup winner with Brazil. Yeah.
Brother of Socrates, right?
Yes, Rai the younger.
Was on the right.
No.
Is it Rai or Mazinho? No, Rai. Rai is the brother of Socrates. Rai. Yes. Mazinho is the father of Thiago and the other guy.
Go and check out these
Rafinha.
So, okay. So last week's Grizz's homework was go and check out Enzo Francescoli. Hope you guys did. This week, go and check out Rai. Oh, you're going to smile when you watch him play football.
Guys, someone wore number 10 in Brazil. So that's how good he was.
Fair enough.
Have you guys seen that clip of Micah Richards and them guys talking about Socrates in one of those quotes he gave to Micah Richards? And it's so funny because at the end of the video, it's like, I want to speak to him, but then he's like, he's dead.
That wasn't about. It was about Carlos Alberto. Alberto.
Oh, it was about Carlos Alberto.
Yeah, Carlos Alberto he gassed up Michael Richards or something like that. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah.
Typical Michael Richards, man. Fuck's sake. Can't check out Rai, people.
But listen, I want to talk to you, Grizz, about where do they go from here?
Well, this is what I was going to say.
I have a solution for PSG.
Go on in.
They need to blow everything up. Messi, Neymar, adios. But they just need to. This era. I mean, it technically is an era. It was an unsuccessful era, but it's over. Mbappe is gonna stay because they're not gonna let him go of his contract. That's a death row contract for at least the next 18 months until he becomes a free agent again. They have Ligue 1 is a gold mine of talent. You have so many talents that you could go sign, and they keep signing the likes of, no disrespect to Fabian Ruiz, but there's better, like Kefren Turan, for example, at Nice is a much better player. Go sign him. You have the likes of maybe like a Balogun you're seeing at Arsenal right now. Go to Arsenal and pay money for him. Kolo
They ain't
Muani.
doing this, man. They ain't doing that.
No, but that's
The
what I'm
thing
saying.
is, listen,
But this is what they need to do, bro. They're Paris Saint-Germain. They're a brand now, and Paris has so many ballers. Zaire Emery came on that last 20 minutes, and he was the best midfielder that we saw from PSG today.
They need to do that for what, Michael? I don't get what,
Because
what's the ultimate goal here?
Because they need players that will actually play for the club, and French players will play for PSG. They need someone that they need passion. Like Mbappe has said, he stayed. Not the whole reason he stayed at PSG, but he wants to win that UCL for France.
politics. No, that's politics.
No,
you
but
know what it is?
I think you're mistaken, Michael. I'm sorry. Let me jump in something. Porto won the Champions League in 2004, but they never went to the next level in terms of marketing, how the club got bigger. I think even if PSG go to the model that Michael is proposing and win the Champions League, they are still gonna lose their spot on the podium of the biggest clubs in the world in terms of like the value, the income, the marketing value.
I think they've already established that though. They're already the brand. They solidified that because they signed the big players and they haven't won. They signed Neymar and Messi. How much better can you go from there?
Once they leave, the club is gonna be done. Nobody's gonna buy their jerseys. Nobody's gonna go to their stadiums when they go to Asia and America.
I disagree with that because Paris Ultras are still one of the best Ultras in the world. PSG, they I'm not saying go sign like nobodies, but go sign like a Kolo Muani is a good player. You go sign some other French players. They have like no French players on the team. It's only Kimpembe and Mbappe. They have to change the strategy.
Do you know why? These other teams in France don't even want to sell their players to PSG. And they have so many options from the Premier League.
Money talks, bro.
Look how much they had to spend to get Mbappe.
That's Mbappe though. That's Mbappe though.
I know that's Mbappe.
I know that's
Mbappe. All the players that have left their academy, that's the only thing they can improve. The players that they can bring through their own system, those are the ones they should keep and give contracts and develop. But I'm not going to lie to you. They can't just rock up to Marseille, to Lyon, to even a Saint Etienne, all of these teams and say to them, we're taking your players, or Rennes and say we're taking your player. These teams, I'm telling you, they would rather sell to a team in Spain or a team in England.
Bro. If you pull up to Lyon with like a 60 mil offer from Maxence Coqueret, I promise you Lyon is taking that money. These clubs are not financially strong enough to say
they're broke, man. They're broke.
I hear that, but I also think some of these other French players, their dream is not to go and play for PSG. If a kid's from Lyon, he's playing for Lyon. He's thinking, I want to bounce. I'm trying to leave. If he's playing for Marseille, he wants to leave. He doesn't 100%. Want to go to PSG.
But you know what their goal is, though? All those guys' dreams is Real Madrid. But what if Real Madrid is never a destination for those guys? They'll go to PSG then. It's not like, bro.
I'm not saying that they can't sign players. I'm not saying they can't sign players,
bro, because they can't keep signing the marketing guys because it's not working. You sign Lionel Messi. He doesn't want to win the Champions League for PSG. He just went there for the money because he had no other choice because Barcelona couldn't afford him. So PSG were the only ones that offered him the contract. Neymar,
let's hit some facts. PSG have now been eliminated in the round 16 of the Champions League 5 out of the last 7 seasons. They've had some unlucky draws, but nevertheless, that's a poor record and a terrible return on the 222 million they squandered on Neymar. Forget Neymar. Bilal has kindly pulled up the amount spent in millions.
So, yes.
Go for it.
It's 1.4 billion towards the end.
1.4 billion in 10 years. Just over 10 years, right?
Yeah, just over 10. Well, this only goes up to 2022. The last window, I don't know how. Yeah, so yeah, 10 years. They've spent 1.4 billion. It's a joke. It's a joke. They spend a ridiculous amount of money, and that doesn't take into account obviously all the wages that they've been spending, agent fees, etc. That's a real driver because at the end of the day, a lot of clubs can compete maybe on the transfer fee point, but they cannot compete when it comes to the wages. They can't compete when it comes to the agent fees, and that's obviously because of Qatar and what they've been able to do for PSG. They spent so much and offered us so little in the Champions League. The only time they really did anything was during lockdown. They got to that final, and still then they struggled to get there. Neymar had to drag them to that final, and they still couldn't get over the line. It's one of those ones. It's a mishmash team, and Michael does have a point, obviously, in saying they need to sign more maybe French players, Francophone players, maybe that can go in there and have a bit of a passion to actually play, not just for the money, but actually bring something to PSG itself. But it's a difficult one for them. I don't see really where they go from here. And Kylian Mbappe, I can see Real Madrid, they've been screaming for another forward this summer. do you not think they're going to want to come in? All the media in Spain, whenever I listen to them about Real Madrid, they're like, Mbappe, where's he going to play with Vinny? Like, they're always talking about Mbappe. So I expect their Real Madrid or something to come in the summer and try and prize
He's
him
not going to
away.
make
And I
the
don't
same
think
money.
this time...
He's not leaving. PSG will not let him leave. They'll not let him leave this summer.
How does this work then, guys? Okay, how does this work then? Look, how does this work then? We're saying PSG won't let him leave. Mo is saying no one can afford his wages. Something has to give. He's not going to do an Mbappe, a Neymar, and just stay there for the money. Like, or he's gonna.
He needs to lower his wages. That's the problem. So
that's gonna ruin his legacy if he stays.
He can't care about the money.
And
he has to wait for his contract to run out. That's the only thing he has to do. It's 2025.
Just before the World Cup, and I think that's when he'll probably think of going to Real Madrid.
That's what I'm saying. So PSG right now have a 2 to 3 year window that they can do something because they'll have Mbappe, they'll have the best player in the world. They have a 2-3 year window to go sign some players that will actually help them win a Champions League. Go sign the young, not even younger players, like 23 to 25 age players, and go do something. I've seen their transfer list for the summer. Apparently, a Kefren Turam, a Kolo Muani, a couple other midfielders. They need some of that because their recruitment has been crap. And think about this, they were 1 goal away from winning a Champions League, a missed chance from Neymar and Mbappe from actually winning that Champions League, and they made the semifinal the year after. They were getting close. You started to see them on the.
I think they've gone backwards now.
And then you know what they did? You know what they did?
In
that 2021 summer where they signed Messi, Ramos, Donnarumma, it got to their head again. It went they went for the home run and they swung and missed. They need to go back to kind of, because you look at the spending, it went down a little bit. It started declining.
I got a question for you guys. I got a question. Do we think if Neymar leaves and Messi leaves, do we think Mbappe in the next 3-4 years, his stock will go down or he's going to improve?
I think he'll improve. He'll have more of the say of what goes in the team. He'll have more impact, I think, in my opinion, because it won't be about Messi or Neymar. And as a result, his stock will increase. But the question I actually had, and I was just thinking about it whilst everyone was talking, is, and it reminded me, PSG, of the project they're going for. Now, they're obviously a brand. They've got Jordan. It's in Paris. And I remember growing up, the Galacticos was a big thing. And I'm not saying PSG or Real Madrid because Real Madrid are footballing royalty. But for ages, Real Madrid kept faltering in the Champions League because they had all these stars and they could not manage to put them together. Now, I think PSG, if they were serious about winning this Champions League, because it's an unhealthy obsession, they need to think about, do we go for the big name star or do we go for someone who's actually probably a better fit for us? I actually do agree with Michael. I think they need a team to win the Champions League, not the big stars.
Think about it, Michael. Because think about it, you just have Mbappe, right? So you put Mbappe as the focal point, and then because he's not gonna press, right? He'll be like the threat. You build 10 workhorses and you let Mbappe carry you because he can do it. I generally think Mbappe is that good of a talent that he could win you the Champions League by himself. And if you put 3 midfielders that can somewhat create but also be physical presences, you get him a focal point on top. This is what I think they lack today. You had Mbappe at striker. Why is Mbappe playing striker? He's one of the best, if not the best, ISO threat on the wing where he could, if you put Mbappe 1v1, ain't no defender guarding him because one step over and he's gone. You do that.
So this is why I agree with Sane and I agree with Mo's. My answer to Mo's question would be absolutely Mbappe's stock will rise. And that's why I think he won't leave PSG. And that's why I think he will stay until his contract runs out because I think his ultimate goal is for Mbappe and Neymar to get out of here. This is my club. I'm going to run this show. You've had your time. Messi and Neymar. Now, Messi, by all accounts, will go. I don't know if he'll have another season in League. Neymar's the tricky one. Like, what does Neymar do?
Neymar's gone already. They wanted him out in the summer. Listen,
they wanted him out.
He's already the Don of that club.
No, but they wanted him out. But how do they get him out of the club? Like, where does he go again? Like, he's another one. Where does he go? He's not ready to retire. Is he ready to retire, guys? Is Neymar ready to retire?
No.
Todd Bowley will probably start.
Mentally, he might be ready to retire.
The counter for what you're saying, Grizz, is that Neymar, when he went to PSG, his stock kept rising until one point, and then when they didn't win the Champions League, everybody kept saying, you know what, you went for the money, we'll forget about you now. Nobody wanted to sign Neymar. They wanted him out.
But this is Mbappe's time. He will see all this and say, you couldn't win it with Neymar. You couldn't win it with Messi. Watch, I'm going to be Mr. Paris Saint-Germain. And then his whole purpose in life will be to win the Champions League with PSG without Neymar, without Mbappe, without Messi. And as Michael says, the behind the scenes structure and philosophy has to change. They have
He's
to.
been there 5 years, Grizz. 5 years already.
Yeah, I know, but that's him, innit? That's his club. That's his boyhood club, right? So this is it now. He doesn't want to be even behind Messi. We know this. He doesn't want to be behind, definitely not behind Neymar. So I think them two leaving this summer, the coming summer, will be huge in the fortunes of where PSG go now.
Because you know what happened? I think with Real Madrid, I think he also saw this. Real Madrid won a Champions League without him. So if he went there, it doesn't mean like with Cristiano Ronaldo, he went when Real Madrid hadn't won a Champions League in 7-8 years. So that was the goal for him to put them back on the top. Real Madrid are on the top now. And Mbappe, let's say he went to Real Madrid, right, and they didn't win the UCL, they'll look at him like, we just won it without you, but you couldn't win it with us. Like, what's the issue here? While at PSG, I think PSG, people keep saying like the legacy. If he brings PSG their first ever Champions League and the second ever French club, the first time since 1992 to win a Champions League, that's massive for legacy. So I think Mbappe is looking at that as well.
Super teams really work in football. All right, Bilal and Michael, listen to this. Yeah, you used to always talk about super teams and Omar, you young bucks.
The NBA.
Yeah, super teams really work in football. Look at the Brooklyn Nets there, Durant, Irving, and Harden. Look at them now, all different clubs. Again, who recalled the Galacticos at Madrid? One of you.
2002, Zidane, Figo. To remember Florentino Perez, he said, "I'm winning the Champions League." He got the players and he won the player. He won the Champions League.
They didn't win
no, but his aim, and he said it. I watched the Figo documentary, he said his aiming to be on top of Europe. And 2002, it was just Real Madrid, and it didn't matter if Deportivo La Coruña won the league. Who cared? Zidane scored a wonder in the final. So who cared?
They did, but they then bottled it in 03-04. They were, I think, 10 points ahead. They bottled the league. They didn't win the Champions League for a while. Galacticos
until 2014
failed. Yeah,
Real Madrid are not serious when it comes to the league. We know
but until 2006, it was done. From 2006,
they were round of 16 all the time. They lost to Bilal's Arsenal with Henry doing a madness at the Bernabeu.
Leon
kept losing. Honestly,
but he didn't have a Galactic at that time. He tried the Beckhams, he tried the Owens, and all this stuff.
R9, he tried the Galacticos.
Yeah, but R9 when he went to. But anyway, Real Madrid, it worked at some point. And also, let's just put it the right way. Real Madrid, when they signed the second Galacticos in 2009, it worked. Because at the end, they won 5 Champions Leagues. After this, yes, it took 4 years to come from Mourinho to Ancelotti. But at the end, 2014, you remember, you can count them. This is all Ronaldo's, the Kakas, legacies, and all of these people, the Bales. It's a Galacticos, and they won it. Yes, it's a Galactic. Yeah, exactly. They won it. So.
It was the same philosophy, but yeah, this time it actually worked. But with PSG, honestly, for me, I don't see where they go from here.
Where do they go from here? Yeah, it's
Grizz and Bilal, do you got and Sani, everybody, Michael, do you guys call this a Galacticos? The likes of Ramos, end of his career.
No, Danilo Pereira running and then tripping over his legs.
There's a difference between Galacticos because Galacticos, we're talking about the best players in the world.
Their name, it's a name.
There's a different word for it. Someone maybe come out. Sani, you're still in education or work. Bilal, you still are as well. Michael, you guys should know. Help us out. Me and Mo are old school. What's the name of this kind of star-studded lineup? It's not Galacticos because Galacticos were, I don't know, man. Globetrotters, Harlem Globetrotters.
Yeah, that's what it is.
They're the big names. I mean,
Ramos and the 3 strikers. Even had Verratti in there.
Even Fabian Ruiz from Napoli doesn't
Verratti's
fit
a
the
big
bill.
name for us football guys, but when you go outside to the non-football person, do they know Verratti? They know Messi. They know. If you go outside, ask a random, non-football people, but they know Sergio Ramos. They know Messi. They know.
What I would say though is with the 09 Galacticos when Madrid started, I know obviously Mo mentioned the likes of the players. Obviously Ronaldo was one, Kaká was one, but other players such as Di Maria and Benzema, yes, there were good talents at Benfica and Lyon, but they weren't heralded as Galacticos. We look now and we say, oh my God, they're amazing players. Of course they were, but they weren't really Galacticos then. Because they had really good pieces, Real Madrid there. They brought in the likes of Varane. They brought in the likes of Pepe. They brought in the likes of Xabi Alonso, Modric, who was great. Like I said, great players. They were great players in their clubs, but they weren't Galacticos. Now, that's what I think PSG needs to do. They need to think about what kind of style they want to play, get the right players in, and go from there. But one quick thing with PSG, which I think is crazy, and maybe this is a conversation for another stream, but Neymar was, leaving Barcelona because he wanted to be the man. He wanted that recognition because after that 6-1 victory over PSG in the Champions League when they came back, he didn't get the recognition. He went to PSG and now he's in the shadow of Mbappe. So serious conversation needs to be had about Neymar at PSG as well.
Oh, for sure. C. Lakers says, what's the panel's thoughts on Gianluigi Donnarumma? Another big name from Mo Serie A. It looks like we're slandering Serie A today.
I think he's regressed, you know. I don't know. He's not improving.
I agree with that.
I feel like he's getting
overrated.
Every
he's
time
one of the most overrated keepers in the world.
He was at a point, he was looking like he was the guy. He looks like...
I know.
So we have a split
Donnarumma.
Donnarumma.
Donnarumma, it was the guy, the goalkeeper, like monster. And I just watch him now every time, like he's doing things that make me nervous. And that's the one thing as a goalkeeper, when you start making
Gianluigi Donnarumma,
you're doing League On. League On. It's League On. It's the same thing.
He's done a Verratti. He's done a Verratti, Mo.
Yes. He did. Milan offered him a contract and he went for the bigger contract. Boyhood, like Milan, offered him a long contract and he said, no, I'm going to go make 12 million, 6-year contract at PSG. Listen, it's Ligue 1. The problem with Ligue 1 is not at the level of even Serie A, Bundesliga, even the Portuguese league. It's not. And it doesn't have the same competition. When you play for PSG...
Is he 22?
Yes. Imagine that.
He started at 16.
I just think he's very bad on the ball. In my opinion, I think he's very poor on the ball, and he has a lot of mistakes on him.
I think Donnarumma. I agree with whoever said. I think it was Bilal. I think Bilal was talking about sort of how he started off, and I thought he's an absolute monster goalkeeper. I thought this guy has the makings of being the new,
Manuel Neuer. Oliver Kahn.
No, Buffon.
Yeah.
Following the
Buffon,
I can't remember a player. I can't remember a player.
But it's a French league thing. I'm sorry. He's gone down.
The thing with him though is he's only 22, and goalkeepers don't hit their prime for so long. So
he's not even close.
So he has time to change the narrative. Obviously,
he needs to fix his attitude. He needs to fix his career. He needs to get an agent that cares about his career.
Well, yeah, we all know who his agent was. His agent was Raiola. We all know what Raiola does. So.
Okay. Well,
can someone tell me a name in PSG that progressed over the past 10 years?
Mbappe.
One name.
Only Mbappe.
Let me think.
Di Maria. I think
Di Maria.
Di Maria.
Yeah, he revived himself a little bit. But
guys, remember, Di Maria was absolutely a phenomenal player in that midfield under Ancelotti.
So what do you mean? Someone who went there and got better?
And Verratti went there when he was 19, Grizz. Donnarumma went there when he was 20. And they regressed. Everybody that goes to PSG...
Okay. What about Thiago Silva?
Fabian Ruiz?
Thiago Silva.
Thiago Silva.
Marquinhos
progressed in terms of losing to Germany.
Thiago Silva.
Thiago Silva was one of the greatest center backs of our generation.
That's what you think. Yes, maybe that's what you think. Yeah.
They had some. Listen, they don't even have like a Thiago Motta in there. Like he was a proper player.
Thiago Motta won the triple with Inter, my friend. Before
Javier Pastore, he was good at PSG, and then he went to Serie A, and then he became. No one remembers him.
Javier Pastore was not good at PSG. He didn't play enough football. The problem with PSG, let's just summarize PSG. It's a club that people go for money. Nobody has heart. Nobody cares about the club. They go and they just play football, get a paycheck, party, enjoy it.
Yeah,
look what they did to.
And that's why I said they need to go sign the French players. That's why I say they need to go sign the French players.
If they want to win, yes, but I don't think I don't think the owners would want the club to go down in terms of like revenue and stuff. They still want the money. PSG fans are not happy about it. PSG ultras are not happy about it. But listen, Chelsea are not Chelsea without the international fans. PSG are not PSG without the international fans. Especially when you play in Ligue 1. There's not enough coverage in the world if you don't have the Messis, the Mbappes, the Neymars, the Sergio Ramos.
So you make a very good point, because that puts them in a very tricky situation then. How do they overcome this, the ownership? You're right. They do need to keep up that commercial revenue and marketability to our players. But to prize a player in his prime away from a club. So let's just say, for example, Jude Bellingham. If money was no objective or whatever, and they could prize anyone, Jude Bellingham would be 100% a target for PSG. But we know the likes of Jude Bellingham won't go to PSG at this stage of their career. Why? Because we know. You know, who else? Haaland didn't even entertain PSG. You know, all these great players that are
What about
back into
Rashford?
their
Would
prime.
Rashford, Michael, would he entertain them? Because I think
Rashford
they're going to
ain't
try
going
come
anywhere.
in for him if Neymar goes. They'll put some
No
money down
chance,
and
no
see what happens.
chance.
They
Bilal, what
they
are you
got
on
no
about?
chance.
No chance.
No.
First of all,
That's what I'm trying to say.
we're
So
getting
who
new
can they get?
owners.
Because we say big star, commercial. Like I think there's only a few players who can bring.
But
that
that's my
Bro,
point.
but we're saying no. But
Yeah.
think about this though. France have a golden generation coming up of so many talents. Go get them now and develop them into stars and make them the stars that they can be.
You're talking like someone who wants to win. I don't think you're.
No, but
You're
we're talking
not
about
realizing the dilemma here. The dilemma is you need to keep the club marketable. Nobody watches Ligue 1. It's here on the. Nobody watches.
What Mo's
Ligue 1.
saying is nobody wants to watch Rouhani.
But what if okay, so let's say they do this, what I say, and they win the UCL. Will that not bring more viewers if you win you're the champions of Europe?
Without the superstars, everybody. Okay, listen. Without the superstars, people will buy these youngsters from them.
Right, but right now they'll still have the superstar. They'll have the most. They'll have Mbappe. That's still a super.
Right.
But we're talking about one of them. Like Mbappe is a superstar, and he's on that caliber of Messi superstar level right now. The dude is the most young. He's the youngest player, youngest superstar. Every young player is looking to Mbappe. Look what everyone else say when we have kids. Project Mbappe.
Let me ask you a question, and I ask this to all the panel. During the week, if there is no Champions League, who is more trending, Vini Jr. or Mbappe? No Champions League happening.
Vini
Who's more
Jr.
trending?
Vinicius.
All day. I
Thank
see
you.
Vini everywhere.
That's the problem.
I still say Mbappe everyone.
So that's what Grizz just said. They need to keep the club marketable by having these superstars. They need to keep the name trending, so kids will come and support the club. They will have. You need the revenue stream, and the revenue stream comes from the name trending. The stores opening around the world, people going visiting these stores. You can't have that with only Mbappe playing in Ligue 1. You'll need other people around him from different parts of the world. South America, they need to have a representative. A lot of people in South America buy PSG
100%.
jerseys.
Yeah, because
So
of that.
Yeah, no, I
You
get
need
that.
competition. Also, the league itself needs another team. It can't just be PSG.
Okay,
You
so
need
we
to
said
have
the
two
superstar.
teams.
But in 2015-16, they were still marketable when they had like the likes of Zlatan, Cavani.
Zlatan, Cavani. They had a lot of names. You remember?
They had a lot
that,
of okay, but I'm not saying you buy only, but you can go buy names. There's like you can go buy someone from South America that's a decent name and go buy them. I'm not saying
You
just
need a
French.
balance. You need a balance.
Also, the game is
I'm not
different
saying
now,
okay.
guys.
Forget the only French. So go buy someone young from like that Endrick kid they could have gotten. But that's gonna be a big star. in
By the
Brazil.
way, Michael, I don't disagree
wouldn't go
with you.
to
I
them.
absolutely 100% agree with you that the club needs these to start winning. But I have
You
this
don't
thing
think-
inside me that
you
they
don't
don't
think they're
think
gonna
they
do that?
wanna. You know,
No, I know they don't want to. They're not going to do this, but that's why they'll keep failing. In my
if
opinion.
the one listen, Grizz, I told you this before. If the win comes with these superstars, welcome. But I'm not gonna give this model and get young players to win the Champions League because the revenue is not coming. I
can't
think
do
this
it.
is
The
said it
only reason I think there may be a change, the only reason is because of the departures of Neymar and Messi in the next summer, all right, if it happens, and also the recruitment of the sporting director and the coach that they've employed. This is not the type of coach that coaches, and this is not the type of coach that wants superstars. So that's the only thing that may change their philosophy. Otherwise, they won't. They just go and pick up the next superstar. But my question was, and nobody answered it because I don't think there is an answer. I don't think none of us can answer it. Is who is the best up and coming superstars in world football that would go to PSG right now? Let's be honest and let's be realistic. So, who are the biggest stars in world football, guys? Name three. Name three biggest.
I'll give you five names, young names below 20. Bellingham.
No, below 20. No. This is my point. I'm talking about ready-made stars. Doesn't matter.
There's not that many, but there's not that many ready-made stars in world football right now. That's a bigger issue. No, because
some of them are big clubs anyway.
No, if you really think about,
that's my point. Okay,
if you really think about it, we had Messi.
Rodri, let's say
there are. Let me give you some names. Let me give you some names in the age of like. The names in the age of like 24, 25. I'm just gonna start with one from my club. For example, Nicolo Barella. Will he go to PSG? If Liverpool comes calling, if Manchester comes calling with the same wage, he's definitely gonna go to the Premier League. He's not gonna go to
so that's Barella. Let's see from Arsenal, Saka. Will Saka go to PSG?
No.
You gotta take out English players. You gotta take out English players ain't going to PSG. You gotta take out English players.
Sane from Manchester United.
Lore Sane, hold on. Lore Sane, 26 years old. Won it with PSG. Won a role with PSG.
No, don't pick English players. So let's just say.
I'm not saying Lore Sane from
I don't think Leroy Sane is a star.
Leroy Sane.
I don't think Leroy Sané is a star.
I'm just
No,
thinking stars in general. Like even let's look at Napoli, Kvaratskhelia. He's not going to go to. I can't
Is
see
he
him
going
in
to go
PSG.
to PSG?
No, I can't see.
Wouldn't even be a
I
thought.
can't see
It wouldn't
it.
even be a thought, and that's the
No,
issue for
no
them.
big
No,
star.
he has Real Madrid on.
That's
No
like a young
player
star
that is at
gonna
the
go.
peak of their careers right now will go to PSG. That's my opinion,
I
and I will
agree.
stand by that. No one. So this is my point. Their strategy is not working, and that probably frustrates them that they can't attract the best players in the world. They can attract the best young players in the world, or they can attract the players that are coming to the end of their career, but are still world star names, and that's it. Fabian Ruiz they've attracted. Does he regret it? Probably. He's thinking, "What the f am I doing here?" Who else did they sign?
This is
up
a
with?
this is a name they
Fabian
should.
Ruiz is thinking that.
This is a name they should have gone
He's
for.
happy,
They didn't
man.
make an
He's
offer.
lucked
They should have gone harder after Paul Pogba. They didn't make him the offer that he wanted. They should have.
But again, not already made. Just a guy that's just a world star because of his name at Juve.
No, but that's not. Pogba would help the
Pogba
team right
hasn't
now.
played regularly, Michael, for 5 years. How do you call him a superstar?
Okay,
And also,
Pogba is a superstar. Whoa, Pogba
and
is
also,
a superstar.
that goes back to my
Not a
point. That goes
superstar
back to my
name.
point about French players. Not all of them want to join PSG because even
Yeah,
Pogba
thank you.
was talking about Marseille. And this is another thing. Look, most
They're very
French
passionate
players
about their
don't-
clubs here.
they-
Local
yeah,
clubs
they
here,
don't
don't they?
want to go to PSG, and especially when it's not a big club. And you can go to the Premier League, you can go to Serie A, you can go to La Liga, you can even go to Germany, who have bigger clubs than PSG. So there's too many options. There's too many
Would
options. and that's
Musiala
why-
leave Bayern for PSG? Kvaratskhelia, even Lobotka.
Even Osimhen, let's talk Osimhen.
Osimhen.
Would Osimhen go to
Yeah.
PSG?
No, he has Premier League on his mind
They have the
already.
Premier League teams after
Some
him.
of
So why would you
PSG's
go there?
best young players, French players, have even left. Like
That's why
Nkunku,
their
for
academy.
example,
They need to
he
fix their
doesn't play
academy.
there.
They need to fix
Kingsley
their
Coman,
academy.
he went to Bayern as well.
And that's what I'm saying. They let go of all these academy start like Nkunku and Coleman. They let them go, and those guys went on to succeed at other clubs because they refused to. They let those guys out because they wanted to get the names. They have Zaire Emery, for example. That kid is gonna be a superstar one day. He's that special. So they need to fix their academy. Xavi Simons, that's at PSV. They signed him at like 15 from Barcelona. They dashed him to the side. So they need to fix their academy and they can make their own stars.
Look at the players they went for in the summer. Ziyech was a fax machine away from signing. Yeah. Mahrez probably, that's a good shout. Mahrez would probably go there, coming to the end of his career.
He's
latter
31,
stages of his
Grizz.
career.
Exactly.
Well, that's my point.
Everyone's
That's
going
my
for a
point.
paycheck. It's a retirement.
Paycheck.
Home. This
It's
is
a
what it is.
retirement
It's a
home.
retirement home.
Or it's a young person.
And this is why I feel bad for Mbappe. Mbappe can't be. Why does he have to stay at a team like this?
Because
he
he
needs to
thinks
try
he's a
and force
leader
a
of
move
men,
in the
and he's
summer.
going to lead his.
Because he has an ego, bro. He wants to be that guy. He wants to win it.
It's not.
but-
It's not
super
PSG
chat
that gets
exactly
it's
saying what you
Qatar.
guys are
It's
saying.
Qatar and the
Super
French
chat
government that
saying
have kept
exactly what you
Mbappe
guys
away.
are
It
saying.
reminds me of, there's one of our supporters who were watching mentioned the Brooklyn Nets and the super team, and PSG and Mbappe staying there reminds me of Giannis Antetokounmpo staying up the Milwaukee Bucks trying to win the NBA championship with them. He doesn't want to leave.
This is why I'm a hypocrite. He needs to come to Maui. He needs to come to New York.
Right,
He
and I
needs
think
to go.
Mbappe wants to win the Champions League there, but will it happen? I can't see it. I genuinely can't see it.
TBG sending a super chat, exactly what we've been talking about. PSG will become a retirement hub. They put themselves in a massive commercial dilemma because majority of their fans support Mbappe and Messi, not PSG. Spot on. And that's what Mo was saying as well. And we all agree. We all agreeing, so I don't know why we're arguing, so shut up, everyone. We all agree.
The league was called Zlatan League at some point, guys.
There you go.
Yeah.
For real.
There
The
you
league
go.
was
If
called
Mbappe-
Zlatan League, Ibrahimovic League.
No, I don't know about this, bro. Nasser Khalifi, I feel for him. No,
Why do you feel for him?
Please.
Definitely not.
Don't-
That's
don't
one guy.
Yeah,
that cannot
please.
feel.
We don't feel for him. Yeah. We definitely don't feel for him. But look, PSG, yeah, man, just liquidate, man. Like sell up. Obviously, Qataris are interested in Man United now. Obviously, different people, but same
There's only one
pot.
guy. It's only one guy that's
Eventually, same
interested.
pot. Eventually,
That
same
isn't.
pot. Let's see how that goes. Talking of which, segueing into very, very quickly tomorrow's fixtures. Sani, come to you first. Tomorrow you have Betis home.
Yeah, I'll
First
be
leg.
at that game. Yeah, so hopefully we need a reaction. In the words of the Tinder swindler, for every action there's a reaction. We need a big one after that 0-7 loss to your boys at Anfield. So
Men.
yeah,
Men.
yeah. Sorry, men. Yeah,
Thank you.
very
Differentiate.
mature men. Very mature men.
Yeah,
but
we're not boys.
Yeah.
We're men. Yeah.
your mob.
God,
Yeah, no, we
Grizz.
need to win. We need to win. We need to win. We need a reaction. I'm going 2-1 Man United, but I don't know, man. After what happened on Sunday, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm worried.
Michael, you share that nervous sentiment?
Minimum 4-0. That's all I expect tomorrow. Minimum 4-0. I expect
Oh, need
anything
some
shorter than 4
optimism.
goals is a disgrace. Anything short. I need the perfect performance. 10 out of 10 from every single player on that pitch. but they can leave my club. I don't care. I expect pressing, 90 minutes of pressing. That's what I want tomorrow. I need a reaction because that was, like I said on Monday, that was an embarrassment. I expect a perfect performance. When we score a goal, I don't want to celebrate it. Get the ball, put it back on the center half, and keep going. That's what I want tomorrow.
Do you watch Real Betis? Do you know how good Real Betis
are? Oh, I know they're good. I know they're good.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't see what we're gonna win for. No, that's why I expect that kind of performance. But obviously, we could easily lose. But I want 11 dogs tomorrow.
I think Man United will turn them over.
They have no Fekir. They have no Fekir tomorrow. They have no Fekir either.
I think Man United will take it out on Betis. Unfortunately, I would hate to see it. I think they'll wrap this tie up in the first leg. What's your prediction?
I don't know because I haven't watched. I watched Betis like 4 games this year, but every time I'm watching them, they play good football. Listen, I thought that Barcelona would be better against Manchester United, but again, is it going to be a reaction tomorrow, or Real Betis are going to take advantage of these guys again? And
I hope
Barcelona. It was very close. You got to remember, Barcelona were very close on knocking them out. And it's a bad Barcelona team. It's not great, but
no, we know that.
Yeah, but they're the best team in that league. So if we beat the best team in that league, we should theoretically beat.
Well, Real Madrid beat Liverpool 5, and Liverpool smacked you 7.
That's UCL though. That's UCL. That's Real Madrid.
Well, maths don't work. It doesn't work.
Betis also drew to
exactly. It doesn't work like this, Michael. It doesn't work like this.
Bilal, your team takes on Sporting Lisbon away.
Yeah, Sporting tomorrow away from home. It seems a bit unfortunate though because I think Kieran Tierney picked up a flu or something. Fabio Vieira apparently is ill as well. So it's one of those ones where the guys who should be playing
stretched.
Yeah, exactly. So the players who should be playing not going to play probably. But yeah, hopefully we get as much rotation as possible. That's the main thing. And the likes of Reece Nelson hopefully gets a start. Obviously after what he did on the weekend against Bournemouth. Nketiah, if he's fit. Touch and go, I think. Hopefully he can, start. Jesus is back in full training. That's a good sign. Xhaka, then, if Vieira's out, will probably play. Jorginho, Smith Rowe, hopefully as well, should be getting a start. Kiwior debut. Looking forward to seeing him. Matt Turner. So there will be rotation 100%. But yeah, just a few players, I said, Tierney and Vieira should be playing. But it looks like they probably won't be playing tomorrow. But Sporting, everyone keeps talking about this Ugarte. Apparently he's suspended for this game, so that's a positive for us.
Absolutely.
So hopefully we get some. Yeah.
Pedro Gonçalves got a plan for me tomorrow.
Yeah, listen, we'll see. It's one of those ones, right?
Do you know what, Michael? None of your plans have come to fruition this season, man. None of your plans.
What do you mean? My plans have come to fruition. My team is third in the Premier League. That's a good plan.
Nah, man. You had a plan for Anfield. Look what happened there, man.
I did not. No, don't do that. Don't do that. I did not have a plan for Anfield. I predicted a loss. Don't do that.
Bilal, what's your score?
For which one? United or Arsenal?
No, Arsenal, man.
I don't know, man. I sometimes we play so dodgy in the Europa League. 2-1 Arsenal. I'll just go with the 2-1 win.
No one else stands out there, really, guys. We've been looking at
Juve Freiburg. That could be interesting.
Nothing stands out. Honestly,
Roma Sociedad is a good matchup.
This is a Europa League draw. It's unbelievable, and I include Man United in that.
This is real football. You're going to see better games here. This is what's going to happen. You're going to see better games than what we saw today.
Whatever makes you sleep at night.
Roma Sociedad will be a better game. We saw Spurs Milan. You're telling me that none of these games will be better than Spurs Milan.
Whatever makes you sleep at night, Man United fans.
Man United fans, yeah, man. That's such.
They're holding on to you. Man, you love the Europa, man. We should be trying to get out of this is a trench.
I've been trying, bro. I blocked their account on Twitter. I blocked their account on Twitter. They tweeted at me and I blocked them.
Yeah, I mute them.
I blocked them. You think I care about them? But what I'm saying is,
official account. Why we don't know you. Leave us alone.
I never said Europa's bigger than Champions League. I said their games are more entertaining because it's not like
it's vibes. You know what it is? There's a lot of young players that play in these Europa League teams. The Leverkusen Monaco game was fantastic. It was
the Champions League is too much pressure, so it's too much tactic. It's too tactical, so teams are scared to go.
Conference League is so entertaining as well. Whatever makes you sleep at night.
I see some grandma. I see some grandma in the window outside the stadium, man. Nah, don't do that.
Okay, we got two United fans in the building. We got a third.
That's how he gets it.
it'll be exciting for you. It's man, you're watching Man United, so you're excited.
United fans gassing up the Europa League. We've had enough, man. This is when we call it quits, man. Time out, people. It's been another cracking Eurostars. We started off talking about flops in the Champions League, Spurs and PSG. We congratulate Milan for going through. We congratulate Bayern, and now we see tomorrow what's going to happen with that third-rate competition or second-rate competition or whatever.
Hey, I'm telling you right now, half those teams are better than Spurs. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, but what if you want excitement?
Like Tottenham are not like top 10. Out of all the top 10 teams in the Premier League, they're probably 10th. If we're keeping it real, they're not.
That's what I'm saying.
But somehow they are fourth in the league, Bella. Somehow they are.
Somehow they will.
Liverpool are hunting them down, bro. Spurs are finished. Liverpool and Brighton are hunting them down. They ain't doing anything.
This has been Eurostars. Emotions ran high. We out of here. Hope you've liked the stream. If you haven't, you're a donut. Take care.
Make sure you like it.